organization they brought in for a GM interview is John Eric Sull in Green Bay. Would you not want to talk to an organization that has done a phenomenal job, from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love? Of course you would, but that's been a big organization that has believed on sitting a QB that you draft in year one, letting them develop a little bit, right? Like Josh Allen wasn't ready to go right away. Jalen Hurts wasn't ready to go right away. Some of these QBs aren't ready to go right away because the term that I hate hearing is, oh, that QB's NFL ready. No, he's not. Like, there's not, there's never been a college quarterback NFL ready. You don't know if you're NFL ready until you're actually out on the field, and then you're dealing with it. I think that that's a cold, hard fact. So to me, if you want to bring in Russell Wilson, and we'll talk about the deal because, to me, I think it's probably going to end up being a 3-year deal. They would tie him with Pete Carroll, with maybe 2 of that, fully guaranteed. The last year's got to be it's a pro-it year, but they would probably want to go with that rookie or whoever they end up bringing in, and again, it's probably going to look somewhere like 3 for 75. However, I would look at it more as, 2 for 50 is how I would probably look at that contract a little bit more closely. Or it could even be like 2 for 40, and then if he's there that 3rd year, he's going to end up making a lot more money on the back end of that contract, which we all would be okay with. Right? And I don't know if Wilson's going to be open to it, but I'll also say Wilson did play at one point, $2 million, the absolute vet minimum this past season. It's a go play with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I get it. He was still making a lot of money from Denver, but he still took that 1.2 when he could have asked for more. We all know he could have, and even though he is a weirdo, even though he's Russell Wilson, even though he's a cornball, if you put any other QB's name and said that that guy did what Russell Wilson did last season, everybody would say I got the utmost respect for that guy, and maybe Russell is willing to do something like that again because he wants to have a legacy. Wilson, you go back a few years ago and he was the quarterback of the Seahawks. He talks about legacy. He talks about his name being compared to names like Tom Brady. There's a quote where he goes, I want to be remembered. Like, I want to be talked about. Like Tom Brady, like Derek Jeter, Mariana Rivera. And these are legends, and that's the mindset Russ has. Maybe Russ believes if he comes in again, plays on a cheap contract because, again, dude, he don't need money. He married to Sierra on top, or she might make more money than he does, right? So like if you got a house with 12 bathrooms in it, and they had a house with 12 bathrooms in it in Denver, like I don't give a... If you couldn't in all those toilets, how about this? How about you help us out, and we build a team here on a cheap contract? Now, the way I would say no to this plan is, well, first let me tie a bow on the yes. The yes is you bring in Russell Wilson, bridge gap quarterback, and then whatever QB you bring in, you let him learn because Russ is a nerd, and he would be a great teacher, whoever that quarterback is. And you also have Tom Brady, who is a great nerd, John Spicy, great nerd, great teachers, great coaches. Pete Carroll has been able to do a phenomenal job being able to find these QBs as well. Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, Spy Tech with Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady being able to create himself. If you have all these very, very smart minds and you let this young guy come in, maybe it's Shatter. I think Jay and Milrow would be interesting just because of the athletic upside, and you let them learn behind all of those great names that I said, because they have it up here. You can't deny that that is winning success, and then I would be on the board for it, the way that it's a big old fat. No, for me, is if the Raiders' plan is to go, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to get a quarterback in the draft, so let's sign Russell Wilson to a 3-year deal. And that's going to be our plan, while Pete Carroll's the guy. That's the worst plan that you could possibly have. And I say that because it provides no long-term stability. If the plan is to bring in Russell Wilson on a 3-year deal when he's in his third 30, he's 35 years old. If I had to guess right now from the top of my head, Russell Wilson, age 36 years old, going to be 37 in November. It doesn't make sense to bring in a 36-year-old quarterback and a 74-year-old head coach and say this is going to be our long-term plan. If that's the Raiders' plan, it's a bad one, because then Russ is 39, Pete Carroll 77, and if we were winning due to that combo is not going to be around for much longer, and I would argue that it would be a 2 to 3 window, and then you got to go out and you got to